Hello and welcome to the Sales and Marketing for Decorators podcast with me, John Mears, and I am joined today once again by the legendary Mr. Trevor Mangan. How are you, mate?
I'm okay. That was a bit of a big build-up, wasn't it?
Absolutely,
no pressure. I've got a lot to live up to now.
Legend of the game. How are you? What have you been up to today?
Well, since we last spoke, what have I been up to? Won a decorating job, but I think we're going to talk about that later. Because we're talking. What are we talking about today? Should you compromise on price to suit a customer's budget? Was that the topic?
Yeah. So today's question is: should you compromise on price to suit a customer's budget? Now, Trev, I think you've got some thoughts on this to kick us off. So, what do you reckon?
We were just before we started talking. We were actually discussing, weren't we, about the level of decorators finish?
Yeah.
What? And I think we spoke about it a number of times. What sort of level? I mean, a lot of decorators, I do the best I can for every customer, but not every customer wants a top-notch finish every time. If you're doing rentals, then the landlord, he just wants it smelling, looking clean and fresh for the next tenant. He's really not that bothered, I don't think, in my experience, how good the finish is, as long as it looks clean and tidy, and he's not going to get too many complaints from his tenants.
Yeah,
so
I think you're bang on with rentals. I don't think any landlord of a little £500 a month rental is going to be begging you to have billiard table smooth walls that you've spent 3 days on with the Mercer.
Exactly.
They want 2 coats on, get it fresh, get it ready to get back on the market. They don't want you wasting a week or two there. That said, I think rentals you probably treat separately to your standard residential work, and I think a lot of decorators listening or watching this will be thinking, well, the finish that you put out, that's your reputation. That's what leads to more work, especially word of mouth is obviously very important to decorators. But
then again, so's work itself, isn't it? So you do need to find that fine balance between a good reputation and keeping yourself busy.
So do you think that every job doesn't necessarily need to be bang on 100%? Do you think it's, even if you did a 90% job, most customers wouldn't know the difference between a 90% job and a 99%?
I don't think so, because me, like a lot of people watching and listening, have probably been taken around a job by a customer and they've been really proud of what they've done, and you think, oh my god, really, you've got one coat gloss, it's running the corners, and they just seem oblivious to what they've actually done. But I think it's, it is, and we all like to think that we're doing our best, but you've got to balance that with actually making money, making some profit. I'm not saying cut corners, because as we all know, 90% of a job is in the preparation. So you can't skip your prep. You've got to make sure that's good. But and I've found it, particularly since getting Mercers and dustless sanders, that your prep does go up, and you do tend to spend a lot more time on your prep, and it does make a big difference. So you find yourself, you're priming bare wood a lot more than I was before, because the Mercer just eats through it.
Goes straight through it, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, although it's a windowsill here and maybe a door there, you're still adding time, and I mean, you do, it's a difficult one really, but it's just finding that happy medium, where you're happy, where the customer's happy, and where you're making money.
I suppose another way to look at it, I mean, how long have you been decorating now?
Since I come back, this is my 6th year. So, but I mean, before that was about 25 years. Yeah. Quite a while.
I suppose another way to look at it is, 6 years ago when you came back in, you were doing your best work. But it's probably fair to say that now, 6 years down the line, your standard of work is a lot higher than what it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you could look at it and go, well, if I do where my skill level is now, 90% of that is probably still better than what it was 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And back then you were still getting word of mouth recommendations and referrals and stuff, and all your customers were happy back then, weren't they? So,
saying that though, I've made some massive steps. You know, I've got out of using oil, using water. I'm pleased to hear.
good.
Also got out of brush and roller and got into spraying, and that itself, you know, makes a big difference. Got out of like a palm sander and into dustless sanding. So there's like 3 major steps that have made a big difference to the actual finished job.
So these,
yeah.
I mean, all these things that you've added to your processes, the dustless sanding and everything like that, your customers seeing the benefit. But are you saying that basically you're not doing the job any faster? You're just doing a much better job now, you know?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. You'll probably invest in. I think that maybe that's the secret. Investing in your skills and your tools. Maybe that's the way. And by doing that, you know, your level of finish is coming up anyway. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's worth looking at your processes and your equipment rather than what you're doing.
Do you think it's might be time for people to reassess how long jobs should take them? I mean, if you were doing a 7 years ago, you get a job to do a front room or something like that, big job, lots of preparation involved. 6 or 7 years ago, you might have said, right, that's a 4-day job. Now, but if I turned around to you 6 years ago and said, here's all the skills and all the equipment you need for dustless sanding and spraying and stuff like that, 6 years ago, you'd probably go, oh, brilliant, I could do this job in 2 days now.
Yeah.
But do you think because it's happened, you've slowly been adding these things, you've been adding them, and still doing the job over 4 days, when really you might have been able to start doing it quicker?
Yeah. But then there's the other one, isn't there? The old, this is another little nugget that you got to be, you know, that's always a contentious issue, is if you go in there and you say, right, Mrs. Jones, this room is going to cost you £600-800 to do, and you do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and you see it on the forums all the time. I finished the job in 2 days, you know, put my invoice in £750, and they refuse to pay it because, you know, you're doing it too fast. And we've all, I don't care who you are, we've all been on jobs where we've actually slowed down and think, I could be finished in 2 days. I've got to come back tomorrow. I can't finish it. You know, customers don't. I mean, I think the more professional customers, like the business people that have got businesses and understand it, you know, appreciate that. Yeah, you're there to make money, and just because you're charging £600-800 for 2 days' work, you're not getting all that money in your pocket. There are other business expenses involved, but you know, it seems to be that they just don't. What, £350 a day, £400, you know, £400 for a day, £800, you know, for 2 days. It's a very fine line. So
yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you have to show the customer the value they're getting, and unfortunately, a lot of the time, homeowners will look at the value they're getting as just the amount of hours that you spend in their house.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of skill and educating to let them know that, look, you're not paying for me as an hourly rate, you're paying for a result. How I achieve that result and how quickly I achieve that result, it's the same. Whether it takes me 10 days or it takes me 2 days, you're still getting the same thing at the end of it, so you should still pay the same.
This is why, when I think this is where if you're working like as a 2-man team or more, you've got the advantage.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you start throwing another bit of labour into the mix, and they start to lose track, and then they start thinking, well, yeah, maybe. But if you're there solely on your own, it's easier for them to do the maths of an evening. Oh, you know, you do get customers that sit there and make a jot down every time you turned up, every time you stopped for a tea break, and you know, but again, it goes back to when you go and do the quote, I suppose, to find out. I mean, this is another podcast altogether, but how do you run your estimates when you go and see a customer? How much time do you take trying to find out what their pain points are? And, you know, is getting the job done is getting the job finished quickly important to you?
Yeah.
Which, if it is, and you know it's not going to be so much of a problem, but you need to find out really what their issues are. and then you can address the job to that problem, can't you? So
yeah, and they pay for the solution. I guess it's that old saying, you see it all over social media all the time in one form or another, but it's always the quote is always, if I do a job in one day, it's because I've spent the last 10 years learning how to do it in a day.
yeah,
Anyone else would take 2, 3, 4 days. So you're paying for not just the actual time it takes you to do the task, but the years of refinement and skill and learning it's taken to get to a point where you can do it that quickly.
Yeah. And not only that, you're paying for the tools, as we said earlier. You're paying for the tools that get the job done the most efficient way and the best way possible.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
So it's an investment in your business. It is yeah, I don't know. You do find some customers that just don't like you to be earning too much. It's as simple as that, isn't it? They just don't. Yeah, yeah. So, but then again, well, I mean, we're talking about compromising on price.
Yeah.
And my other one is that I don't think that you should give a discount to any customer without actually taking something away from your quote.
Definitely. And that's another good reason to, when you do any sort of quote, to break down the processes that are involved, so that if the customer comes back to you and says, can you knock 200 quid off, you can go, right, well, here's the 15 processes involved in this job. Which of these do you want to lose? Because everything that happens on here happens for a reason. And if I don't do X, Y, and Z, the results will be affected. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Well, the secret is to have bits in your quote that you can discount without actually affect. I mean, my I don't know if I should be giving this away or not really, but I belong to Dulux Select.
Yeah.
And if people want to knock me, or not, but they want a job cheaper, my first go-to is, well, I'll take the guarantee off. We won't use Dulux paint. We won't get a guarantee for 2 years, but we'll use Johnson's or anybody else's paint that I can't guarantee. And they think, then they start seeing the value in a 2-year guarantee for like £250. Oh yeah, and quite often not. Oh yeah, we'll keep the guarantee. We'll have we'll use Dulux, and it gets them. You know, they start thinking, well, you know, 2-year guarantee, and it's going to cost, and I'm only going to save £250, and it's a brilliant one. It makes them sort of focus. Think, oh right, yeah, but. Or the other thing is, you know, you just say, I'll use a different brand of paint. There are ways to discount it without, you know, for otherwise, it just looks like you've picked a figure out of the air and then you've another figure to get the work. It just doesn't seem to make, you just devalue your whole offering and your whole service, I think.
Yeah, and I think in the majority of cases, when people start asking for discounts, they're literally asking for the sake of it, just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And if you give them any sort of resistance, or just say no, or say, well, if you do, then you're going to lose X, Y, and Z. You're going to lose the guarantee and stuff. They go, all right, yeah, whatever. It's just sort of, I think a lot of people, particularly with trades, they just think, you've always got to have a haggle, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, they don't do it in Tesco, but if you've got a painter and decorator around, then everyone will have a go at trying to get 50 quid knocked off. Or what can you do for cash and stuff like that? They'll always try and find a way.
And I always find it's the thin end of the wedge as well, because if they start discounting it, and then it will be, oh, could you just, you know, I've got and it's, you know, then they start pushing their luck a bit more and taking the piss a bit more, and you think, well, hang on a minute, it's, you know, just let them know from the start. You know, it's your business. You've got terms and conditions. I mean, perfect one the other day. I had a woman sent me, I quoted for, sent the quote off, and then she sent me back an email saying, we've had problems with trades before, and I take 25% deposit.
Mm-hmm.
We've had trades before. We're very reluctant to take a discount, to pay a deposit rather, to pay a deposit. I hope you don't find this, you know, I hope you understand. And I put, well, sorry, no, it's 25% deposit, or find someone else. You know, it's the way I work. I'm not there to pay your materials until you decide to pay me. It's you know, that's the way. Your terms and conditions are there because you feel comfortable working that way.
Yeah, just
Unless,
the same way. Just the same way that they've said, "Oh, we've had a bad experience before." You can go, "Well, the reason I take deposits is for exactly the same reason." Yeah,
yeah, we're all in the same boat. Yeah. I mean, the only time I will start to sort of like bend a little bit or be a bit more flexible if it's an existing customer and you've got that relationship where you've got on really well, you've done 2 or 3 jobs, and there's been no problems, and you think, right, you've built up that trust and that rapport, and a bit more about them. But no, this is like a brand new customer, not worked for them before, and well, that's fine. Plus, it's in Fulham, so it's quite a trek. It's all like that, all that. It's all going in the wrong direction. But no, so
I guess I get. So what happens? A customer says to you, right? They come to you with a job, and you go through it all. You want to do full prep. You want to spend a day filling and sanding down and getting everything right because your reputation matters to you, and you want. If they ever have friends and family come round, you want that room that you've done to look amazing because you want all of them to go, wow, who's your decorator?
Yeah.
Can you recommend them? So there's got to be part of you that thinks you don't want to do a slap and dash job, or you don't want to bend to the customer's budget too much, because if they say, right, look, I just want the walls a different colour. I don't want you doing prep and stuff like that. Skip that day out. Just stick a coat of paint on it. At that point, do you go, all right, I'll do that, or where do you think you should draw the line on what is not good enough for your reputation?
I think you've got to be happy that if you walk away from that job, then you've done a good job, and you're proud to put your name on it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we spoke about it before, but I got asked a few years ago to go and paint the outside of an apartment near us that was being sold. It was an outside windows, and he just wanted it to look nice because when you pulled up, basically all he wanted was a shine on shit, which is basically just gloss everything up, make it look shiny. And I just said, no, I can't do it. And he said, well, it just needs a rub down and I said, it done. It's a rub down and a gloss. I said, it done. It needs filling. I said, it's rotten wood. I said, it looks terrible. No, just gloss it. I said, well, then I'm not the person for that because my van's signed me and it's going to be in your drive. And people that, the people that have seen that, the neighbours that have seen it, in 6 months when it's all peeling and flaking and looking as shit as it does now.
Yeah.
All that they're going to, it was TJ painting. Did you see his van? And you think they're not going to know that you've asked me just to make it look all nice and shiny so you can sell your apartment. So you've got to, I just walked away and said, no, I can't. I'm not doing it. You've just got to, like I say, you've got to be happy in your own mind that it will last, it will look good, and you've done, a good job. I think it's because
I think you need to be delivering at least 90% of your full potential. Otherwise, the damage to your reputation will just far outweigh the short-term goal.
Or ask a customer to leave like a poster like you've got behind you saying, "This was not my idea." That would be because and people are terrible for. Decorators. I try not to, but decorators are the worst for running down other decorators' work, aren't they? You must know that.
Yeah, you put that on social media, and they're just wolves. They want to go and they're zooming in on photos, trying to look at everything, make sure you've done it all properly.
So I just think you've got to be able to walk away and think, if something gets picked up, you've got to be able to defend yourself and know there's a reason for doing it. But
I guess one of the other things is I reckon, from the decorators I know and speak to anyway, I think if a customer battered them down on price and they did agree to do a little bit less on the prep and stuff like that and reduce the price, I think 99 out of 100 decorators would end up just doing the prep and doing it all properly and running overtime and just doing it right anyway.
Because they got pride in their work.
Absolutely right. And then it's sort of, you've lost out and the customer's got double as much for it. So
yeah, it's and also the trouble is there's no sort of like industry standard of. I mean, there's the British standards and all that, but there's no sort of set way to know. I know you stand away from a wall in the middle of the room, 2 meters away from the wall, and that's meant to be, how you judge a room and the finish of the wall finish and that. But there's no actual right. This is what a finished room should look like. This is what you should be getting for your money. It's very hard to sort of have a standard room finish to be able to judge everybody's work by. So
yeah. So what do we think then? So for a final verdict, I'm sort of leaning towards you can compromise slightly to work with a customer's budget, but realistically, you've got to weigh it up against what's the long-term effects on my reputation. And I think you've got to look at it and go, is this at least 90% of a perfect job? And because you might go, right, I can achieve 90% in 3 days, but it will take me an extra 2 days to go from 90% to 100%. Is it worth spending those extra 2 days just to increase it another 10% when the homeowner or the customer in question probably wouldn't notice the difference? And I'd still get, good recommendations and referrals if I just left it at 90% quality. Do you think that's fair?
I think it goes down again. It comes down again to actually communicating with the customer and explaining why you're doing what you're doing and why it's going to take those extra 2 days. Yeah. You could just say, look, it's getting to the point now. I'm doing less and less and less and less. It's probably better that you do it yourself, because for what I'm going to do, you'll probably be capable of achieving that standard anyway. So you just you're taking out all the important parts of the process.
Yeah. So I think as some advice to decorators, then would you say it's probably best to avoid it, but maybe look at having things on your quotation process like the Dulux guarantee or something, have something like that you can strip away if a customer starts asking for a discount, and make it something like that where they'll sit back and go, oh, actually, no, do you know what? Just do the job to your full potential.
That guarantee has got a real high. It's a real value item, isn't it? It's because no one else does it. So take a guarantee, unless the customer's got another Dulux Select decorator around. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I can't say for 100% sure, but there's a very good chance that no other decorator that you're competing against is offering a guarantee. And it's like you say, 9 times out of 10, I think they're just seeing how far they can push you.
I think so. I think that, there's loads of things you could talk about to the customers, and you can look at it as, look, I want to do it this way because this not only looks the best, but if I do these processes, it will last you 10 years. If we cut out the preparation and stuff that you want me to cut out, I'll be back here in 2 years because you'll want it doing again. So maybe explaining to the customer the long-term benefits of doing it right is always ultimately ends up being cheaper for them. Yeah.
I've started talking to customers now about their budgets, just saying, what sort of budget are you? Because it's the same as when you go and buy a kitchen, isn't it? It's all very well the salesman designing you a £20,000 new kitchen if you've only got a flipping £9,000 budget. You're just wasting each other's time.
I think it's important to get ballpark figures and some sort of budget established early, because you don't want to be talking to someone who's got 500 quid in their head and your quote comes in at $6,000 because you've just wasted each other's time then.
And not only that though, I know you're trying to wrap up, John, but you've got me in a roll now. Not only that, the other day I went to look at an outside, and she said, I've got you along, she said, because I've had 2 quotes. She said one's reasonably cheap and one's quite expensive. She said, I just wanted to see which way. I said, so we've started talking about budget. She said, well, I've got these 2 quotes, do you want to see them? I said, well, it'd be useful. It's always useful, isn't it, to see what other people are doing. One quote, this is for an outside, one quote was £1,150, and I'm not kidding you. For £1,150, that's what you put, £1,150 to prime, undercoat and gloss, exterior windows. That's it. Bearing in mind, she was a ground floor flat of a block of 4.
Yeah.
You know, of a floor 4-story block. So, you know, if they'd have been funny, they could have said, "Well, you said windows. We want the whole lot done, not just you know." But anyway, so that was, and then the other one was 2.7 plus the VAT, which I thought was a lot more nearer the mark.
Mm-hmm.
His was a little bit more detailed. I think I came in at 299.50, and you know, it wasn't a case of, oh well, I'll go in between 11.50 and matey, because I come back, worked it all out, and at the end of the day, you know, my price is my price, whether it was, you know, more expensive than matey or whatever. I just needed to work it out at what it cost me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I did actually win the job, but yeah, just goes to show that we just, you know, it's just well worth asking about budgets, I think.
Definitely. That's good. And that is pricing to do the job, not just pricing to try and win the job.
Yeah,
price it's got to work for you as a business, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the other one, isn't it, is when you're talking to customers on the phone. Another controversial point is, do you start discussing ballpark figures over the phone? Now, I'm very much the case of, let's get it, you know, let's talk ballpark figures over the phone, because otherwise we're just wasting each other's time. The other side of the coin is, don't talk about prices. Wait till you go and see the customer. Wait till you meet them. But trouble is, if a customer's only got £1,500 and the job's £2,500, however nice you are, however much rapport you build up, you're not going to bridge that £1,000 difference, are you?
Exactly, unless you start offering finance options.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. You know,
then, you're not going to get there.
It's it's not the way forward. I think you should start asking, or start, what do they call it in sales, price conditioning, isn't it? Getting them used to what you're. So it's I think it's all these little tricks that can be put together to help us along the way. But that's got us away from our original point, isn't it? Sorry.
Definitely, but good idea for another podcast. We'll write that one down. Okay, so all right, Trev, what's your final thought then?
I think
you compromise on price.
I don't think it's a simple black and white yes or no. Do you? I think you just need to, as long as you're comfortable, you can walk away from a job knowing that you've done it. You know, the customer's happy, you're happy with what you've produced. Then, I don't. And sometimes you'll find that the customer's happy with less of a job, and you've spent a little bit longer there than you thought you would, but but with those sort of restrictions in place, you've actually, you know, on reflection, you've done the best you can with the time you've had and the expenses you've incurred. That's a roundabout way of an answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. I think it's important to focus on what makes the customer happy rather than what makes you as a decorator happy.
Yeah, I think
it might be that the customer's happy with a lower standard than perhaps you are. There's some wiggle room there.
Yeah, it's a very grey area, I think. But
it's a grey area, but I think if in doubt, I would always err on the side of protect your reputation, protect your name. So
if it takes you name,
move forward with caution on this one. But if you're ever in two minds, I would go with protect your reputation, protect your long-term interests.
Yeah, because you can afford to spend an extra day with a customer over the course of your decorating career. It's nothing, is it?
100%.
But just don't do it too often.
Okay, all right. That's I think that just about wraps it up. Trev, you've just started recording some more episodes for Two Decks One Mic, haven't you?
One went out the other day. Was the first one this year, actually. But well received. I was quite surprised at how much we were missed. I've had some we have had some real nice messages saying, thank goodness you're back. I've edited that. If Ryan was here, he wouldn't have done. But it's real nice to think we were missed. So hopefully we're going to be back in the swing of things. I think what has happened, we've done we started off with two podcasts a week, went down to one when Ryan moved away, and I think you don't realise it's a lot to be churning out each week. You know, you've got to keep coming, and we felt that we were getting a little bit the same, so we've had a little bit of a break.
I'm just beginning to learn that there's a lot more that goes into it than me. It's not just turning on a microphone and having a chat to a mate.
No, exactly. It's just, I mean, I know we make it sound like it's seamless and professional.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, right. But no, there is a lot more goes. You know, you see these people, YouTube and podcasts, and there is a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than you actually realise. But no, we're back. We're enjoying it. So hopefully, it's the start of new things. So
good. Yeah. Good. Well, I can personally recommend the show. I've listened to all the new episodes. So 2 decks, 1 mic. That's the number 2 and the number 1.
Yeah. Okay. Spotify,
smooth. Spotify, iTunes, all the usual places for your podcast. Yeah. So definitely check that out. If you want more from me, you can go to my website, jmears.co.uk/ebook, and you can download a free copy of my latest ebook that will help you with your marketing. Trev, thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.
Lovely. Cheers, John. Thank you very much.
Cheers.